And in the final, he had more fouls than buckets made in the second half in OT. He just didn't do much. He's kind of a limited great sniper.
If you're eager to find out what Colin said next, just podcast it by searching The Herd. And as always, you can listen live to Colin Cowherd weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Basically, get out of the way.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
The Russell Wilson situation with Sean Payton is certainly interesting because for some reason, Sean Payton was hoping that the Giants would start Russell Wilson, his former quarterback, against the Broncos instead of Jackson Dart.
I was talking to John Mayer not too long ago, and I said we were hoping that change would have happened long after our game.
That's a shot at Russell Wilson. This is what I don't understand about that. Okay, Russ might be washed, but don't you blame ownership for making a stupid trade? Giving him that money? Trading those draft picks, trading those players. Maybe Russ didn't help the situation with coming in entitled, maybe wanting his own office. I understand all of that. Move on. I was disappointed in Sean. Move on.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekdays 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
It's Jason Smith.
Oh, you're that bloke on the radio.
It's Mike Harmon.
Ta-da! I'm kind of a big deal.
And they talk sports.
The one person that this playoff is not fun for is my wife.
Amongst other things.
I had an incredibly long dream about
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah!
FS1.
Call your friends. It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, I think we're out of the gate. I hope we're out of the gate. We are live on Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show back on a Wednesday. How are you, everybody? South Dakota Sports Talk Show ready to go. Welcome in across the state. It's always a great day in South Dakota, and we're ready to go. A lot of ways you can catch this show. I appreciate all of our affiliates, Fox Sports Radio across South Dakota. Also on Midwest Sports Plus, new high school sports streaming app. If you don't have it, get it. Really good stuff. High school coverage all season long, football into basketball. It's called Midwest Sports Plus, brand new, and our show is live there. A couple of ways here. On Twitter, follow us, watch us live at Nate Brown Show. Follow us on Twitter, watch the show live every afternoon at Nate Brown Show. Interact with us on Twitter, and we get a little bit of interaction. We got a lot of interaction yesterday, and I'm gonna get into that. Also on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. Welcome in there. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We'd appreciate that. You can catch every show live and archived. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Out of the gate on a Wednesday, a lot to cover tonight. High school, college, pros. We've got it. Some great guests here, so let's get into it. Sam Herder's coming up in our countdown to the Dakota Marker game. Sam Herder is the FCS senior analyst for Hero Sports. Not only are we going to get into Jack's Bison with Sam, of course, we got to get into this Grizz Sacramento State thing. I mean, this thing just keeps on going. It has legs. Grizz play Sacramento State Friday. I'm like intrigued, and I'm wondering if I'm going to go to BetMGM Sportsbook and take Montana at all. I'm thinking on that. Let me think. Sam Herder's coming up. HeroSports.com talking FCS. We'll go to the Vikings side. Thor Nystrom's in. Vikings tomorrow night, Thursday night football. Chargers in L.A. Thor Nystrom covers the Vikings, Score North, and NFL college football analyst. Thor Nystrom's on tonight from Fantasy Life. He's coming up. Craig Mattick's in. East River meets West River every week on the Nate Brown Show. Craig's on tonight from SDPB Sports. And finally, Jake Terry, head football coach, Elk Point-Jefferson. They've had a great run in 11B this year. Going to talk to Jake about his team and trying to win an 11B title, but also he's been on this football advisory committee. What does Coach Terry have to say about what we should or not change in South Dakota high school football from classes and more? Jake Terry coming up, Elk Point-Jefferson head football coach. So the Wednesday show lined up. There's the guest lineup. Looks good. If you want on tonight, we'll get you 605-720-1067. 605-720-1067. Mark that number down if you've been listening to the show. That's the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch at East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, also in Brandon, and 2 locations in Rapid City. It's the home of everyone's favorite buffet, your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. Barron's Wilson text line open for you, 605-720-1067, 605-720-1067. Text the show, be a part of the conversation there. So yesterday's show was got a lot of interaction, a lot of people on the show, on social media, talking about high school football and this formula that Montana has put into place when it comes to figuring out just how to do classifications. Now, here's the deal. They don't move teams up and down and around based on this formula. So I want to continue this discussion and then get into another question I have for the audience tonight. I like you guys interacting here. So Montana doesn't move teams up and down and all around, and I'm not necessarily asking for that here, but I am asking for more of a formula and a policy that allows teams to, yes, move every now and then. It's not going to be every year, every 2 years. It's probably going to be on cycles. And I think South Dakota just has to have a better plan and model for classification of high school football. That's what I'm advocating for. And by the way, tomorrow, so tune in tomorrow. We've already got it lined up. The executive director of the Montana High School Association is going to be on tomorrow. He'll be on as our first guest. And I'm going to get his read. How did you put this formula together where you include roster size and enrollment and a success factor? And what that's for is if a team wants to move down, here's what it is. If a team wants to move down, the Montana High School Association has that formula in place, and they say, okay, let's look at your roster size last 4 years. Let's look at your win-losses in the playoffs the last 4 years. That's the success factor. Let's look at your enrollment and where it's going. That's the model they have in place. We don't have that in place in South Dakota. Even if you're not going to move everybody up and down and around, you still got to have a model in place. So let's say some teams ask, can we move down? Like Watertown did 4 years ago, like Aberdeen Central did 4 years ago. They said, hey, we'd like to move down to 11 AA. Well, there's really just the board of the Activities Association looks at it and they say, well, what do you think? Yeah, they maybe haven't won. They've had a tough time. All right, we'll have you move down. There just needs to be a plan and a policy there, I believe, of let's really factor in roster, enrollment, success. Let's follow the Montana plan, and I would still advocate, I would like to follow the Montana plan to do classification so you don't even have to have teams asked to move down. So that's my question of the day tonight as I continue the discussion of where should we put high school football teams. And this also turns into, I get people reacting, well, this is just a Rapid City problem. This is just the Rapid schools. And it's not. I've got some news on that, by the way. Let's take a look at Sioux Falls Roosevelt the last few years. And I'm just being serious about this. Everybody knows Sioux Falls Roosevelt used to be a power. Kim Nelson, Roosevelt, not so long ago, they won 8 games 5 years ago. They won 8 games in the regular season. They were one of the top teams. It's fallen off in a hurry. I understand Jefferson coming online, but now you've got Roosevelt who's won 3 games the past 3 years. And now 1 game this season. And this is the type of situation. A bad thing is starting at Sioux Falls Roosevelt in the football program. What do I mean by that? Numbers are dropping. They don't even have enough players to play some JV games. This is Sioux Falls Roosevelt. And a bad thing is starting there. Where's that going to be in 5 years? This is the scenario. It's not just about Rapid schools. It's about schools across each class that are way off the pace of being competitive, that see numbers just drop in their roster like crazy, and then we just keep on saying, well, focus on winning. Do you not think some kids and coaches and strength coaches are focusing on winning? A lot of these kids are. They hit a rough patch, and I think there should be a plan in place to have a better formula than just enrollment. Well, Sioux Falls Roosevelt's still a big school. Well, why have they only won 3 games the past 3 years and 1 game this year? Why have they down to the 40s on their varsity roster? Sioux Falls Roosevelt's down to the 40s on their varsity roster. That's like some 11 AA teams or worse. So let me ask you this question of the day. If the plan is, well, we're just going to stick with the enrollment, that's just Montana has this formula, but they only allow it to go into place if teams want to go down. They want to petition down. I would advocate to use the Montana plan, and I'll talk to the executive director of the Montana High School Association tomorrow. I'm going to ask him, how did you come up with this plan? How has it worked? But if the plan is to just stick with enrollment, and that's where we put football teams in South Dakota, what do you think is the number one issue that some of these high school programs that are struggling in these ADs, why aren't they petitioning to go play down a class? I open that up to you on the Nate Brown Show tonight as our question of the day. So people say, well, you can petition down and see what the Activities Association thinks. Well, if Roosevelt continues this rough stretch, you think Roosevelt's going to petition down? There's no way. And so I think about this. What are some of the big issues there? What are the biggest issue? Well, we can't petition down. That's my question of the day, because there's obviously a roadblock. The Douglases of the world, they haven't won a game forever. They've won 2% of their games over the last 5 years. Douglas Patriots, 11 AA. Well, why don't they just petition down then? What's the reasoning? That's my question of the day. I have some ideas. You don't get into the playoffs, by the way, if you petition down. That's a rule in South Dakota high school football. So you could petition down, no playoffs for you. So petition down, have fun. You don't get to play in the playoffs. That's got to be a factor. And by the way, how does it look for your school? How does it look if Rapid City Central said, oh, we're going to petition down? Because they take heat. I mean, I get arguments from people online, just me. Let alone if Central's like, hey, we're going to petition down and, see how it goes. Oh, what do you mean? You're a huge school. You're a big school. Roosevelt has 40-some kids on their varsity football team. They're hitting a rough patch. There's no way they're going to petition down. So why don't we put in a formula that allows for, hey, let's look at a 4-year history and see where these programs are really at, not where their enrollment is. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Sounds like Roosevelt needs better recruiters.
I don't know about that, but they're battling with Jefferson. You know that, and that's when they've hit the skids.
I know that. But, Nate, next time you get that guy from Omaha you like, ask him when was the last time Omaha South won more than 3 ball games in a season, probably in the last, since Fanta, that tight end in the NFL played there.
By the way,
just part of life.
By the way, they're complaining about it. They're complaining about it in Nebraska big time. Big time.
I know, but you know what? What do? South High has probably got 2,500 kids, 3,000. There's 20-some high schools in Omaha. It's just the way it is.
Here's what's going on.
That way in all sports.
If you don't
Every now and then you get basketball.
If you don't win, you're not going to get kids out. If you don't win, at least compete, you're not going to be able to recruit kids. You just not.
Then petition down, and your last game is the season.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for getting on. Thanks for calling in. 605-720-1067. Question of the day, what do you think's the number one issue stopping schools that are struggling in football from petitioning down? You just petition down to the Activity Association. You can go down a class. That's the only option we have because there's not a formula in place that looks at anything other than enrollment. And I've had people, they think it's easy. I've had responses on social media. Well, just focus on winning more. What does that mean? What does that mean? Sioux Falls Roosevelt 5 years ago won 8 games and was a top team. Now they don't have enough players to play some JV games. So this is a perfect example. The trend is now starting. Roosevelt struggling. Where are they going to be in 5 years? Just focus more on winning, guys, there at Roosevelt. Come on. Huh? Let's see. What's the number one issue why you wouldn't petition down? Question of the day on the Nate Brown Show. Let's see what people are voting for. 71%, number one vote getter tonight. Number one issue where you wouldn't petition down for football. It looks bad for your school. Looks bad for the school. I get that. That's why I put it in as an option. I get it. But I think getting blown away and winning no games looks bad too. I think not competing and having 30 kids on the sideline looks bad too. I've been to these games where they're over from the start. Big student body comes. They're excited. It's homecoming. Yeah, we're ready to go. And they're gone by halftime. That looks bad for the school. 17%, or I should say 18% of the audience says these schools think they'll get denied by the Activities Association anyway. And that's where this idea comes in. You got to have a plan like Montana where it's a solid formula, enrollment, success factor, and roster size over the last 4 years. Let's see where we're really at. Let's see which class you should really be in. If you petition down, let's have a formula that actually says, yeah, you have a good case here. Because I can think of many schools right now across all classes. It's not just a rapid thing. I know that's where this is centered from my standpoint. But there's other options here for schools as well. Let's see. Listener text coming in. Nate, this Montana model is too good not to implement. It's supposed to be about providing the best experiences for the students, and this seems to enhance it. Okay, let's see. Listener text. The ADs don't want the schools to look weak, and then they have to deal with the school board complaining about the move. Yeah, that's one other factor. I don't know about the school board, but there's constituencies in the school community that never want to petition down. There's a lot of people that say if you're really struggling, you haven't won, and I mean it's really, really bad for a long time, you should try something else. I hear it a lot. But then there's a section of folks that say, we're going to petition down? This is ridiculous. So there's inside politics there. There's no doubt if you petition down. So everybody says, well, why doesn't Douglas just petition down? So I asked that. Why don't they? Because there's a lot of factors here. 11% voting for you lose a playoff opportunity if you petition down. That's the number one issue, stopping teams from doing it. 71% leading vote getter. It just looks bad for the school. That's why ADs don't want to do it. Listener text here. Maybe Roosevelt should deem some male students not eligible, and then they would be able to drop down. Careful. Let's see. I want to see where we're going on this, by the way. I'm going to talk to the Montana Executive Director tomorrow. I like this plan. I think it's worth discussing in South Dakota, because teams obviously aren't petitioning down. It's been a struggle for years. and programs aren't going to do it because there's these hurdles I just mentioned in the way, you need a better plan, and let's use the Montana plan. Not saying teams have to petition down to use it. Let's use the Montana plan for a classification model, enrollment, success factor, roster size, free and reduced lunch. I think it would work. And then it would allow for competitive games, and I've been down that road before. That's an interesting example. It's Sioux Falls Roosevelt's a powerhouse school. They get a lot of kids. And their football program, magically, enrollment's high. Their football team's not winning as many games as before. And now it's starting to get worse. Numbers dropped off a cliff. I look at their roster sizes. This is my friend Matt Kearney got this for me. Roster sizes. 60s, close to 70, and it fell off into the 40s this year. The less you win, the less you compete, the harder it is to get your football program strong. Let's jump out of this. We'll talk more about it. Craig Mattick's on tonight from SDPB. Jake Terry, who's on the South Dakota Football Advisory Committee. He's the Point-Jefferson head coach. I'm going to get into this with him. First, Thor Nystrom will jump into the NFL and more. Thor covers the Vikings. Thursday Night Football tomorrow. It's a big one. J.J. McCarthy's questionable. Thor Nystrom's in coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Football season is back, and no matter which home team you root for, there's one thing everyone in the Midwest can agree on. If you're tailgating or grilling at home, nothing beats a freshly baked Village Hearth bun. An old-fashioned hot dog bun is the perfect accompaniment for a brat or a hot dog and all the toppings your little heart desires. And for the best burgers, you just can't beat the Village Hearth Classic Bun. So head to the store and pick up some Village Hearth buns. The weekend is almost here.
Life changes fast. Starting a business, getting married, buying a house, growing your family. Have you taken steps to protect your family's financial future? Don't let life insurance be the thing that slides. It can help your family during difficult times. Lee Cruz with New York Life Insurance Company can help you get started. He's local and will help you find the right policy to fit your needs and budget. You can Google Lee Cruz New York Life or call 605-360-8804. That's Lee Cruz New York Life. Protect your family.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Mainly clear skies tonight with lows around 35. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 63. Lows around 40 tomorrow night. Mainly clear skies. Ample sunshine expected Friday with highs around 68. 76 Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 55.
Football is on, and your place for all the action is at the BetMGM Sportsbook in Tin Lizzie Gaming Resort.
And he's got a touchdown!
Don't miss a second of your favorite matchups with wall-to-wall television arrays and personalized audio technology.
Touchdown, Denver!
Now offering live betting so you can keep your luck rolling while the game is still going. Grab a lounge chair or pull up to a table and order off a full menu of food and drinks from Patty O'Neill's. BetMGM at Tin Lizzie is the #1 sportsbook in Deadwood, where it's always game on.
Get unmatched selection at the best prices in the Black Hills from your Mr. Liquor stores in Rapid City. This month's specials include a $6.50 savings off all flavors of Kahlua, now $23.49. Or save $3 off 19 Crimes wines, now just $8.99. Plus, you can order an ice-cold brew in their adjoining Campfire Bar and enjoy it while you shop. Price is good at both Mr. Liquor stores, off Catron Boulevard next to Walmart, or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
As a rancher in western South Dakota, you know the meaning of hard work. From working cattle to working in the field, you know that the job begins before dawn and can last into the night. You also know that at the end of the day, it's more than just work. It's a way of life. When it comes to banking, You need a bank that values your time and is committed to your growth. Don't settle. Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
All right, we got you covered tonight. Thanks for checking in with us. We appreciate you. You make the show possible, and we are grateful for that. South Dakota Sports Talk Show across the state on Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show is on. Stream us there on X, at Nate Brown Show right now if you're on the app X. Follow us and watch us live at Nate Brown Show. This guy's on X. It's Thor KU. That's his handle. KU, you know that. Represent. Thor KU. Fantasy life, NFL, college football, also some Vikings from the Twin Cities. Thor Nystrom's on tonight. Thor, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. How are you?
Doing good, man. Thanks for hopping in. Vikings Thursday night football. I just saw a stat. They haven't won a Thursday night game since the 70s. Oh, boy. What do we have to stay with that stat?
Well, but Carson Wentz also has never lost a Thursday night start, so I guess something's got to give.
Oh, okay. I like that. Good comeback. So what's the story? J.J. McCarthy is questionable. What do you think the story is? Is this ankle sprain the problem, or are they slow rolling this?
Yeah, no, he's not 100%. He's super close. I think like where people get this twisted is like, it's like, oh, O'Connell, like he wants to keep him out or wait until, this mythical number or, all this, sort of stuff. It's coming from, I think even above O'Connell of the kid doesn't play until he's 100%. And he needs the full week of practice in advance of that. O'Connell said in his comments on Monday that they had run him through a full-speed workout on Monday morning to attempt to see ostensibly whether he would be able to get through the practices this week at 100% going into a short week game against the Chargers. And JJ was not 100% for that workout. And what O'Connell was saying is it's basically like it doesn't affect him until it's like an unexpected movement, basically like a cut, or something like that, like in the game where you're running and now you have to cut where there's still pain there. And they want to wait until he's 100%. I think you will see him back against the Lions. Carson Wentz isn't 100% either, and I hate to be crass about this, the Vikings don't care if Carson Wentz breaks. Right, and he is compromised. He's gutting through this. He's going to have to play potentially here behind a depreciated offensive line on Thursday night in Los Angeles because we saw the injury report today. Both Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill are now on that.
Yeah,
surprising for Darrisaw, a late week addition to that. Seems kind of ominous for his status on Thursday. If Darrisaw's out, obviously Ryan Kelly already is, and if they don't have Brian O'Neill as well, pray for Carson Wentz.
I was going to say, I saw Darrisaw on the injury list. That's bad. He was on at the start. Not seeing much action from him. Now on it again. We'll see. Thor Nystrom on tonight. You have said this. Vikings have played 6 games. They've had to go back-to-back in Europe. They've had all the injuries. They haven't played particularly well, and they're 3-3. And you say that's a big win.
Well, because you think about the season and what you've seen of it and the narrative and, all that sort of stuff. And it definitely seems like they're worse than 3-3. It's kind of funny to be like, well, they're actually still, in this thing or whatever. But, that puts a lot on Thursday night. If they can somehow find a way to grind that win out, that would be, for the playoff hopes, that would be quite big. Because the next week you turn around and you play at Detroit. I believe the rookie quarterback will be back for that game and playing, but that's a tough matchup no matter who's behind center. Obviously playing at the Lions in that game, it's hard to go into that one expecting that you're going to win. If it's a different scenario going into that game 4-3 or 4-3 or 3-4, take a loss in that one, you're at 3-5. Obviously, the postseason hopes are getting dim at that point.
Next 2 weeks, tomorrow And Lions are a juggernaut right now, but these 2 weeks, you just said it, pretty big. You go 3-5, you got some issues. Do you think the Vikings have some issues against the pass? Eagles don't throw it that well. They went deep on Sunday.
I think that was a schematic decision that ultimately backfired, although I don't blame Brian Flores for doing it. You saw them get more aggressive in packing bodies up close to the line of scrimmage, packing the box. The Vikings were resolute that they were not going to be beaten by Saquon Barkley, and it made sense going in because you had seen a couple of these games, the Vikings' run defense get gashed. That was a legitimate concern heading into the Eagles game of Saquon Barkley's going to do whatever he wants. And the Vikings did effectively put the clamps on him, but what that meant was less resources on the back end. And the Eagles had a brilliant game plan. They were prepared if that was what the Vikings were going to do. Brian Flores is notoriously aggressive and notoriously creative. We got to see the NFL's first attempt to defend the tush push with a backup reserve interior defensive lineman lying horizontally across the line of scrimmage from the center, right in front of the snap. You can't get lower than someone who's lying on the ground. And that's what Brian Flores did in that game with Tyler Batty, an undrafted free agent from BYU. But the strategy to pack the box to stop Saquon doesn't end up working. The Eagles get good matchups. One of them, they got A.J. Brown isolated one-on-one deep with Metellus. For one, I think it was A.J. Brown.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Brown licked his former teammate Isaiah Rodgers on another one. So they just did a really good job, the Eagles.
Do you think that tush-push strategy is going to be tried now by other teams? We see this. NFL, somebody tries something, then they're like, well, that was as close as it's going to get. They still got it, but it didn't push them over like we've seen before. We're going to see teams try this now?
I think it's interesting, yeah. You know, like if the Eagles, if that's going to be such a big part of their offense, you know, there was the game before where they ran it 4 straight snaps and stuff like that. If you can figure out a way to stop it, obviously that's a competitive advantage against that team and, you know, that offense, whatever. And we have not seen teams able to do it so far. Why not think outside the box? And if you're going to find one guy to think, it's Brian Flores. And basically it's like he was trying to create like it's like a tower of bodies right in front of the center on the other side. Like that was the way he was going to do it. That he's going to, attempt to defend that. And that's what you saw, like, you know, sort of the car pileup right around the ball, you know, where it ultimately was. So it's definitely worth, you know, not only thinking about could that strategy work, but also any other ones that you got, because the league hasn't figured it out yet.
Want to get your take on you do some NFL draft stuff. You're one of the best guys in the country on that. Jackson Dart's getting his time now. He should have beaten my Broncos. He didn't. Big pick there. But what do you say about Jackson Dart's start?
It's been very impressive. The thing that has impressed me the most, when was doing his draft evaluation, I love the tools, love the pedigree, 5-star, came from Utah, went to USC initially, and then he got ejected from there because Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams transferred, went there from Oklahoma, obviously, but then Jackson Dart goes to a different system. He started out at the air raid, and then Lane Kiffin's got this modified system, but Kiffin's system, it's really clever, but often it has you going to the first read, and there's all sort of schematic candy that he does to juice the odds that his first read will be open. So even though I loved all Jackson Dart's, his tools and stuff, we didn't get to see him go across the field with his progressions as much at Ole Miss as with some other offenses you can play with in college football. And what's been so cool to me to see early in his NFL career, you're seeing his head snap across the field with full field reads. And the point I tried to make during his draft evaluation is you can't say he can't do that because he hasn't been given the opportunity to do it. It's just, it's a black box, and he has proven very early that it shouldn't have been a concern that he's able to do that. It's just the Kiffin system's different. So hats off to that kid. I think he's going to have a long, prosperous career in the NFL.
Okay, college question before I let Thor Nystrom out. You're in Minnesota. Gophers handle the Huskers pretty easily. Can Minnesota beat Iowa now? Gophers?
I think this is a much tougher matchup for Minnesota. Minnesota, they're pretty good up front on the defensive front there, but they struggle to tackle, especially their second-level guys, third-level guys really struggle to tackle. And when they can't create havoc in the backfield, that's where you can start to gouge them. They were able to just maul Nebraska's offensive line and ultimately sack Dylan Raiola 9 times, and they were in his face the entire time when they weren't. I didn't understand why Nebraska's their strategy in that game was to throw as often. If I was them, I would have ran more. But that brings us to Iowa. Iowa's not going to throw downfield at all. You know, they're just going to do their downhill running thing. You can nick Minnesota for that. And the superpower that Minnesota has in the back end defensively, Coy Parrish and those guys' ability to flip the field. Iowa doesn't throw down the field much. They don't trust Gronowski to do that. They're just going to turn this into a phone booth game. It's the worst matchup for the Gophers. So, yeah, I'd expect Iowa to pull that one out.
Okay. Thor Nystrom in tonight talking NFL, Vikings, college football. He's at Fantasy Life. Find him on X at ThorKU. Vikings, Chargers tomorrow night. Thor, I appreciate you, man. Thanks.
Thanks. I appreciate you.
Thanks a lot. Thor Nystrom on tonight from the Twin Cities, NFL college football analyst, and Vikings coverage from Score North from Thor Nystrom tonight. Darisaw questionable now for the Vikings tomorrow. You got another offensive lineman. You got, no J.J. McCarthy. Thor made an interesting point. If the Vikings lose tomorrow, 3-4, then it's the Lions. Oh, boy. 3-5? Am I already giving you a loss against the Lions? I'm nervous about that. I'm scared about that game. These are the Vikings who I had in good shape. They're going to win double-digit games. Now I just saw this analytics stat. You got to trust these nerds. They know the numbers. The percentage chance the Vikings win double-digit games has fallen to 19%. 19% chance that the Vikings win double-digit games. We just had a interaction on Twitter saying that Vikings fans can't figure out what they want. Vikings fans in 2023, what we need to do is draft a QB and develop him, try to find our next Mahomes. But now Vikings fans in 2025, I don't understand. We didn't sign one of these veteran QBs, pay them what they're worth, and try and win now. I haven't wavered on that. By the way, I'm sticking with J.J. McCarthy. I've been there from the start. It's been a little iffy. Is this going to remind me of my Kirk Cousins days? I'm out there on the Kirk Cousins limb, and then it breaks off. Because I went with Kirk, and then that party ended pretty quick. I had to fold the Kirk Cousins fan club in South Dakota. I had to fold the organization. J.J. McCarthy fan club. I'm not the vice president of that, but I've been consistent. You got to stick with J.J., but guess what? The Vikings need players healthy. You got to have players healthy. I'm not scared of the Chargers tomorrow night. Everybody thinks the Chargers are a big team. Oh, Harbaugh and this and that. Coming from a Broncos fan, I can tell you, the Chargers aren't much. They're the Chargers. Don't worry if you're a Vikings fan tomorrow. I like the Vikes tomorrow. It's the Chargers. Sam Herder's on next as we continue. Dakota Marker games Saturday night. Our countdown every day on the show. We've got Sam Herder, FCS senior analyst for Hero Sports. It's Jax Bison. And then I'm going to ask Sam, what's the real deal in this Montana-Sacramento State trash talk game? This is just wild. Just wild. Sam Herder talking FCS. Dakota Marker coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
October is Renewal by Anderson's United Against Cancer campaign, and when Renewal offered to pay for employees' radon testing and mitigation, several Renewal team members found radon in their homes. Deb was one of them, and she always wondered how she got breast cancer. Radon causes cancer. It's linked to Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. Radon is a killer.
People don't know about radon. They don't know what a killer it is, and they don't know how cheap it is to have it tested.
From all of us at Renewal by Anderson, please get a radon test now. It could save your life.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Hard stops, endless red lights, and long idle times. They wear things down fast. Brakes, fluids, engine components, they all take a beating. That's where Al's D&I Repair in Rapid City comes in. We handle the maintenance that keeps your vehicle ready for whatever the city throws at it. Al's D&I, fixing it right since 77. Check in at Al's D&I on Sturgis Road.
From Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Packed lineup tonight from South Dakota across the country. Craig Mattick's coming up from SDPB Sports. Craig Mattick on the Nate Brown Show tonight. East River meets West River. Some high school football to discuss, just a little bit. Jake Terry's on tonight. He's part of the South Dakota Football Advisory Committee. So he's the guy looking at all this football stuff. And he's the head coach at Point-Jefferson, who is a good team in 11B trying to win a state title this year. So we'll cover it all there with Jake Terry coming up from Point-Jefferson. Dakota Marker Countdown on South Dakota Sports Talk Show continues every day on the program this week. Count you down to Saturday night in Brookings. Number 1 against number 2. Jackrabbits home winning streak on the line. Sam Herder's in, covering it, herosports.com, FCS senior analyst. Sam, welcome on. How are you?
Doing good. Always good to be on the show, and appreciate you having me on.
I'm ready to rock, man. South Dakota's ready to go Saturday night. Let me ask you about the home field advantage. I've had people on this week, South Dakota State side, North Dakota State side. Now your national coverage. How big is the home field advantage, do you think, at this new stadium in Brookings?
Yeah, I think you always like to have that home field advantage, and especially when you can have a sold out crowd. I always think that's worth a decent amount of points right there. And you don't really expect a team like NDSU to get rattled in front of a big crowd like that or anything, but it can certainly energize the home team. It can also, create some false starts or make it difficult for the offense to communicate. And I also think there's just kind of waves of emotion or momentum within games. And sometimes if you're the home team and you grab that momentum and, you're kind of riding that high. And if you're the away team, like you got things are going against you and you got the home crowd on top of you. And sometimes you just kind of run into a buzzsaw. And so I do definitely think that being the home crowd for South Dakota State could definitely be an advantage.
So the Jacks took care of Murray State, but it wasn't a blowout. Murray State's moved the ball on some teams. Were you surprised by how that game went? Chase Mason did get hurt, but it was competitive even up to that point. Were you surprised by that game?
A little bit, mostly just the yards allowed by South Dakota State. Probably didn't see that coming, but I think for the most part, you still held them to 14 points, and that's good enough to get you a win most of the time. Especially if you have a backup quarterback in, your defense is going to have to step up and enforce a lot of stops and give your offense an opportunity to go out there and win the game. And there's been a couple of games like Youngstown State, the South Dakota State defense didn't play particularly well. They came back and played super well against Northern Iowa. Then this last weekend kind of did a bend but don't break, allowed a lot of yards overall, but by the time it came at a clutch moment to get stops, South Dakota State was able to do so. So I'm not super worried about the Jacks defensively. I still think they're one of the best in the FCS. Those have to play a bit more buttoned up compared to last weekend.
Does it feel like North Dakota State has any weaknesses, Sam, when you're looking at this roster and you break down this matchup? North Dakota State doesn't seem like there's a lot of soft spots. What do you see?
Yeah, it kind of depends on how you're judging them. Just overall, there aren't really any weaknesses. They can run the ball, they can throw it. They're good in the secondary. They can stop the run. If you really want to get down and really nitpick and judge them on a national title scale, and you go, okay, where are some areas that maybe could prevent NDSU from winning a national championship? I think it's depth on the defensive line. Might not be as good as it has in past years. They're not super explosive in the running game unless it's Cole Payton, and so that could be an area as well. I think offensive line is good, but I don't know if it's elite. There's been some teams that have gotten a pretty decent pass rush on Cole Payton. It's just a matter of bringing them down is the difficult part. He's so big and strong back there that there have been times where he's kind of been pushed off his spot or he's gotten hands on him, but he just is too good where one arm tackle is not going to bring him down. So I definitely think there are areas to nitpick overall with NDSU, but no doubt in my opinion, they're the most complete team in the FCS, and you really have to. When we're talking about weaknesses for NDSU, we're saying things like, well, they're really good on the offensive line, but they're not elite on the offensive line. We're really kind of getting down and nitpicking there.
FCS senior analyst Sam Herder's on tonight's South Dakota Sports Talk Show, featuring the writer for HeroSports.com, talking Dakota Marker. So this rivalry's great. We all love it. It's number one against number two, the best of the best in the FCS. Is it the best rivalry now in the FCS?
No, it's not. It's still Montana State. This is the most important rivalry in the FCS, just with the high stakes and and all the big implications and all that, and it's always going to be two highly ranked teams, and so it's probably the most important, the most crucial. But as far as best rivalry, I still think it's Montana State, because there's in the Dakota Marker, I do think there is genuine dislike between these two programs. There's respect there, but there is dislike between these two programs. When it comes to Montana State, that is pure hatred, and especially when it's in state like that, where half the state is either a Grizz or a Cats. It could definitely get ugly, and it's definitely a fierce rivalry. So I would still lean the Brawl as far as being the best rivalry in the FCS.
Okay, I've seen them both. I've experienced them both. Yeah, the Montana one is really, really good. I know that the whole state is engaged. This is two states now, North Dakota State, South Dakota State. I do have to ask you about Chase Mason. What is your feeling about Chase Mason? Depth chart comes out. He's listed first, but it's or on the depth chart, and Dan Jackson's not going to say a thing until game time there. What's your feeling on Chase Mason for Saturday night?
Yeah, you can kind of talk yourself into a lot of different scenarios. Like, it's easy to talk yourself into being like, okay, like he didn't get hurt on his touchdown run, right? He got hurt at some point earlier on in the drive, and he played through that and was healthy enough to, to finish that drive, score a rushing touchdown. And so he's probably going to be good to go this weekend. He probably, if he absolutely had to, if it was a national championship game last weekend, he probably would have gotten back into the game and kind of gutted it out, but they probably felt they didn't need him. And there's also, you can look at it as, well, you never know with ankles, they could swell up and get worse, over time. And, it's really hard to put a lot of stock into the depth chart. I mean, I'm pretty sure Reese Kirschman was still listed on the depth chart in week 2, despite suffering a season-ending injury, in week 1. And so Chase Mason is listed first. Does that mean anything? I don't know, but they did add an or in there, whereas, in past weeks that obviously wasn't there. So my guess would be that he plays. I would be a bit surprised, honestly, if he did not play. Maybe the bigger question is just how effective is he going to be if he can scramble. It's even, less about the quarterback run game, but more about just a scrambling ability in the pocket. If that's limited, I definitely think that could be a difference maker.
Let me get your read on this other FCS game that I'm intrigued by Friday night. ESPN2, I didn't see it coming, but it's hyped up. Sacramento State, Montana, out of the Big Sky. Montana's coach, Bobby Houck, said the president at Sac State's kind of a clown because the president was talking trash, calling them the Pandas, saying they haven't played anybody. Are you surprised where this has gone?
Yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, probably not, because Montana has the most engaged fan base in the FCS, and so Dr. Luke Wood knew exactly what he was doing, and he was joking around and he was trolling, but at the same time, like, Coach Houck didn't call him, kind of a clown just because of those statements, right? It's been, a year-long thing or whatever of Sac State's president, leaving the Big Sky and referring to the FCS, comparing to the FCS as JV, and so it kind of definitely added some fuel to this contest for sure.
Is Montana a team? They're a top 5 FCS team. They're not the Montana of old. Are they good enough to take care of Sacramento State? How do you see Friday night?
Yeah, I think the Grizz do get a win, and there's there's for sure extra motivation there, and I think that always helps you when you go on the road, because you're kind of in the week-to-week grind of the season, and sometimes it can feel like you're doing the same thing over and feel so monotonous, and you're just the grind throughout the season can really get to you, and sometimes you have those sleepy games, but this is certainly going to wake the Grizz up, and you'd expect a pretty sharp performance. And Sacramento State is pretty good, but they haven't been overly impressive. They lost to Cal Poly. They nearly lost to Northern Colorado. They were a couple of yards away from. It was actually kind of similar to the Northern Colorado South Dakota game, where UNC was in scoring position for the game-winning score, but came up short. And so I haven't been overly impressed with Sacramento State, and I think Montana is definitely going to come in there with. I feel like they're going to execute very well in this game.
So you picked Montana to beat Sac State Friday. I haven't seen your breakdown yet, Sam Herder. It's at herosports.com. You always break down the Dakota marker. Can I get your picks Saturday night?
I haven't made it just yet. I feel like I've maybe hinted at where I'm going with it, but I'll wait until later this week to come out with that.
All right. Stay tuned. Sam Herder in tonight, FCS senior analyst. He's at herosports.com. If you're not following him, you need to. South Dakota sports fans, he's at Sam Herder FCS on Twitter. Sam, I always appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Sam Herder on tonight, courtesy of the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch. Sam Herder talking Dakota marker. He hinted which way he's going to go. Which way is he going? Which way is he going, Sam Herder? The market has opened up. Action Network says the Bison are favored in Brookings Saturday night by 4.5. Bison by 4.5, according to the odds. Just came out this afternoon from Action Network. Bison by 4.5. All right, here on the Nate Brown Show, I have a disagreement here with a big-time college coach, and normally I'd be right here with this guy. I'd be right here complaining about this and that of how sports have changed, and we got to do better than this, and railing against the NCAA. Normally I'd be right there with this guy. I am going to disagree with this legendary college basketball coach, and I don't know if you're going to be on my side or not. Big topic coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Our locally owned Ace stores are committed to helping our neighbors and our communities. And because we're in the neighborhood, we can deliver almost anything you need. So shop in store or online for whatever your home or yard needs. Choose from top brands like Milwaukee, Steel, Traeger, and Benjamin Moore. Then pick up in-store, curbside, or we'll deliver your order right to your home. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know how to help. See acehardware.com for details.
Old Man Winter is right around the corner. It's time to upgrade your ride. Shop a great selection of used trucks and sport utilities at Denny Menho Toyota. Snow-busting 4x4s and all-wheel drives. Plus, the area's best selection of used Toyotas and Toyota Certified Pre-Owned. Get financing as low as 4.99% APR for up to 60 months on Certified Pre-Owned. Tell Old Man Winter to take a hike. See us at Denny Menho Toyota or DennyMenhoToyota.com. 1887 per 1,000 finance, regardless of down. Offers with qualified credit. Expires 11/3/25.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Mainly clear skies tonight with lows around 35. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 63. Lows around 40 tomorrow night. Mainly clear skies. Ample sunshine expected Friday with highs around 68. 76 Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 55.
Hey golfers, have you experienced Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club? Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off Exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
Ever since Barron's Wilson Funeral Home first opened their doors in Rapid City 140 years ago, they have continued to make personal service their #1 priority. In your time of grief, they offer a personal touch by being at your side through every step of the funeral process. They answer difficult questions and guide you toward other professional services you may need. See for yourself the wide variety of services they can provide for you by visiting their website at barronswilson.com.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely, and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger?
Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. Your Sports, Your Show. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Glad you're here. If you missed parts of the show, remember the Nate Brown Show podcast is available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all the big platforms. Wherever you get your podcasts, search the Nate Brown Show, and that's where you'll find us. All of the South Dakota sports content from high school to college to the pros, got you covered. Every show there, the Nate Brown Show podcast. Search for it, and you've got it. Coming up this next hour, hang on, Craig Mattick's on tonight. SDPB Sports, longtime broadcaster. Coming up, Jake Terry's in as well from Elk Point-Jefferson. He's the head football coach for Elk Point-Jefferson. They're really good in 11B, but he's also part of the football advisory committee looking at high school football changes, and we've been discussing that last couple of days. So Jake Terry's going to join us from Elk Point-Jefferson after practice. So I've been thinking about this one today. I have been thinking about this topic today, and I normally would agree with this legendary basketball coach at Michigan State, Tom Izzo. It sounds right away like you should agree with him. So here's what Tom Izzo, he went on a rant today at his press conference about the NCAA recently changing their decision. They're now going to allow NBA G League players to play college basketball. So if you're following this, if you've been following this the last couple of years, there's a lot of high school guys now that didn't go the college route. They went the NBA G League. It's just called the G League now, but I'm going to keep calling it the NBA G League, just so you know, because it's pro basketball. The highest level there is called this Ignite. And that's where they make quite a bit of money in this Ignite version of it. Most of these guys in the NBA G League, they're trying to grind their way. They're not making a ton. But there has been some people high level that have tried doing this Ignite portion of the NBA G League, saying, you're going to make big money here. And they've been offering big money. So this has been the thing in basketball. It's like, what do I do? Do I go the college route to get to the NBA? Or do I just go pro right away, get paid in the G League, and then go to the NBA? But now what's going to happen, the NCAA, who has barred anybody from going, you couldn't go to the G League and then come back and play college basketball. That was the rule, but they've changed that, and Tom Izzo went off on that today. And it sounds like, well, Tom Izzo's right. He said today's college basketball has no rules. And he says, and the kids aren't the problem, it's the adults. I'm not excited about the NCAA or whoever makes these decisions. They're just afraid of getting sued. So now you can go pro, and if it doesn't work out, you should be able to come back. What about the freshman that was recruited there? That's somebody's son, and he thinks he found himself a good place, and all of a sudden, shazam, they pull out their hat and bring in a 21 or 22-year-old from the G League. This is Tom Izzo saying it's ridiculous, it's embarrassing. It sounds like I'm with Tom. You can't go to the G League and then come back and play college basketball. But I thought about this today. College basketball players are now getting paid huge amounts of money. So, what? It's not amateur stuff. Some people would argue it hasn't been amateur for a while. But it's not amateur. It's not, oh, poor kid. He's going to go to Michigan State, and he's going to get an education, and he's going to be part of the deal. They're getting paid big bucks at Michigan State. So I understand Tom Izzo saying maybe taking roster spots. You shouldn't be able to go to the G League. Then you come into a program, you take a roster spot. Well, that is what it is. The high school basketball players and high school football players, for that matter, have a tougher road than ever before. People are transferring. People are staying in programs. They're going every which way. And so the high school kids, there's less and less spots now. That's not just because of the G League deal. So I'm just telling you, it seems a little different in today's world. I'm normally with Tom Izzo yelling at the clouds. The NCAA can't get anything right. And I'm not totally sure they're right, but it's not like, oh, you can't go to the G League and make money and be a pro and then come back to college. They're making money as pros in college. Well, what's the difference? What's the difference? Let me ask you that question of the day, by the way. Tom Izzo says you shouldn't be able to go to the G League and then go to college basketball. What do you say? Because I say now, as I've thought about this, college players are getting paid NIL anyway. This isn't just a scholarship and, oh, we're doing it for the right reasons. No. I know the NCAA screws up a bunch of stuff, but I think they finally said, hey, People are getting paid in college. People are getting paid in the G League. What's the difference? Because how this came up today is a 21-year-old kid who committed to Louisville. So there's players now that have gone to the G League. Louisville just picked up one this week. And so Tom Izzo saying, I mean, this is ridiculous. They go to the G League and then they come back, and play college basketball. I'm trying to find the difference. It's not much of a difference. And by the way, the international players, they can play professionally. The international players play early professionally. And then they still come over here and play some college if they want. Right? I mean, you got to understand the international kids, some of these players are playing early as pros internationally, getting paid, and then they come in and play college basketball more and more every year. There's a record number of foreign players, by the way, in the NBA this year. They come over and play in our college leagues. So I think Tom, we wanted to be there, rail against the NCAA. I'm with you. And then I go, wait, college basketball is totally different than ever before. And the NCAA, I think, is just realizing there's no difference. G League, you get paid. It doesn't work out. I'm going to transfer to a college. We go to a college and get paid. It doesn't work out. I transfer to another college. What's the difference? G League to a college. College to a college. No difference. Now the college players are getting paid. Do you think it's okay if players go NBA G League but then decide to try college basketball? Are you okay with it? I'm going to guess many of you say, no, I can't have it. But I actually think it's not a big deal. I thought it was. Tom Izzo's right. He's got it. I'm with the old guys. Not quite. Michigan State's probably got some pretty good NIL if you check it out. What's the vote on this? Let me see. 65% of people voting, no, I'm not good with it. You can only choose one. Why can you only choose one? Oh, you got to go, gee. Hey, by the way, Tom Izzo, what if he got called by the Lakers like Dan Hurley did a couple of years ago? Tom Izzo, he could go to the Lakers, and then what? Now we can't bring him back to Michigan State? Tom Izzo can't go to the Lakers and then back to college? People are doing stuff like that all the time. But players can't. No, we can't have players. See, that's where he's off. He's off. 65% of you say you agree with Tom Izzo. You can only choose one as a basketball player. G League, pro, or college. 35% of you say it's fine. Listener reaction coming in. Anyone voting no on this is a hypocrite. Oh, that's from an older guy on Twitter. I see you. He said, yeah, you can't be hypocritical on this. You can't be hypocritical on this. All right. Interesting stuff. I'm going to come right back into a second hour on a Wednesday with 5 questions from Chris. Our loyal listener, Chris, has them ready. We'll see if I'm ready. Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
October is Renewal by Anderson's United Against Cancer campaign, and when Renewal offered to pay for employees' radon testing and mitigation, several Renewal team members found radon in their homes. Deb was one of them, and she always wondered how she got breast cancer. Radon causes cancer. It's linked to Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. Radon is a killer.
People don't know about radon. They don't know what a killer it is, and they don't know how cheap it is to have it tested.
From all of us at Renewal by Anderson, please get a radon test now. It could save your life.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Bontrager and Armor just ramped boondocking up another notch. And right now, you'll get the best price all year on these 2026 ultra-light, ultra-beefy, option-loaded campers and teardrops.
You gotta check out these new look campers, people. The new designs are fantastic, and so many options for their size.
And so many options for towing. No need for a diesel or a big truck. These only weigh around 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, so they can be towed by almost any rig.
Check out these new 2026 Bontrager and SGC Armor campers, everyone. See AnytimeAnytime.com, and as always at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales. One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
It is the Nate Brown Show. Welcome in South Dakota Sports Talk Show, where it's always a great day in South Dakota. You can book that. Not a bad fall. Can everybody say that? Can we say that? Not a bad fall. I mean, we can never say that in South Dakota. We got wind, we got snow, we got everything. Not a bad fall, so I hope you're doing okay. Wednesday edition of the program on Fox Sports Radio. We're into the second hour, driven by Summit Automotive Group when it comes to pre-owned in South Dakota. Start on your phone. Take a look right now, summitautogrp.com. It starts with the right selection, so take a look, summitautogrp.com. When it comes to pre-owned, then it's really car buying built around you. The right selection, the right financing for your family. SummitAutoGRP.com. Second hour on the Nate Brown Show features two South Dakota greats. Craig Mattick is in, coming up, SDPB Sports, and then high school football coach at Point-Jefferson. He's won a lot of games, and he's winning again. Point-Jefferson, 11B school. They're one of the top teams to follow. St. Thomas More's in that mix. Jake Terry's the head coach at Point-Jefferson. I've invited him on tonight, not only to talk about his playoff game tomorrow as they open up play, but he's a part of the football advisory committee in the state of South Dakota looking at what should we tweak, what should we change, and I just have a few ideas. So I'm going to run it by Jake Terry. Coming up, Point-Jefferson head football coach. You want to get in touch with the show? 605-720-1067. Hopefully you have that saved. It's called the Barons-Wilson text line. 605-720-1067. Be a part of the conversation there. It is Wednesday on the Nate Brown Show. That means
it's time for 5 questions from Chris on the Nate Brown Show.
Chris, what's going on, man? You got 5? Here we go. Our loyal listener, Chris, sends me 5 questions every week, and I do my best. Question number 1. Nate, since the firing of James Franklin at Penn State, speculation's been about Matt Rule being the leading candidate. Should Nebraska already be conducting some informal, behind-the-scenes discussions with recently fired coaches like Franklin or Napier to gauge interest if Matt Rule decides to go to Penn State? Or should the Huskers just wait it out? You got to wait it out. You have to wait it out. You can't be doing little intel work. You can't be doing there. You got to have your own list, Chris. So Troy Dannon's got his own list, the Nebraska athletic director. He's got his list. He doesn't have to start discussions yet. So we'll see where this goes. I'm not so sure Matt Rule and the Huskers are... we'll see where this goes, okay? We'll see where this goes. Oh, it's question number 2. Speaking of where it goes, speaking of the Huskers, if Matt Rule and the team doesn't finish with 7 or 8 wins, is Matt Rule risking the chance to become the next Penn State head coach? Well, that's what I mean by that. Lost to Minnesota. My other 2 losses I had on the list was USC and Penn State. I'm going to flip that. I'm going to still... USC, I think, is going to be a tough game for the Huskers. I think Iowa at the end of the year is going to be really tough. Huskers should be able to beat Penn State now. They're kind of reeling. So that would put them at 8-4. 8-4, Matt Rule is fine, but that still might means he goes to Penn State. If they reel off some losses, Chris said, I have the Huskers going 6-6. Oh, Chris! Don't do that to the Husker fans tonight. My goodness. 6-6? Then we got some problems for Matt Rule going to Penn State. Question number 3. 5 questions from Chris tonight. The baseball postseason has the Dodgers pitching staff elite. Dodgers pitching in 10 games has allowed 56 hits. Of the innings pitched, 70% are done by the starter. The collective's ERA is 1.40. Lowest in the World Series playoffs since 1981. Why do you think the Dodgers pitching staff, which was a weak link, has now become their biggest asset? I have no clue other than to tell you, Chris, it's baseball. The Brewers, best team, winning. Nobody can touch them. And then they just get blasted. It's baseball. You don't have momentum. I mean, you can have a bad stretch in July, and that's where the Dodgers were at. Pitching was struggling. They had injuries. They're bad. And that's why I picked them to go to the World Series, because I knew you put all those players together, they're going to be just fine. It's baseball. Things change from one week, one day to the next. Dodgers pitching all of a sudden really, really good. Dodgers Blue Jays, Game 1 Friday. Question number 4. Let's talk about Texas Longhorns and Arch Manning. They've struggled. Before the college season, though, NFL insiders were saying Arch could be declaring for the NFL draft. Is it more surprising to you, Nate, that Arch Manning hasn't been benched, or that he's not lived up to all the hype? Well, they're not going to bench him. That's pretty far. That's a big name, I don't think they're going to bench him. I think just not living up to the hype. I wouldn't say I'm surprised, because I wasn't one of the guys thinking, oh, Arch Manning, I've seen all this stuff. Have you seen Arch Manning? We hadn't seen anything. I couldn't believe everybody was out there. Number 1 pick. Oh, he could go to the Browns. The Browns might tank so they can get Arch Manning. These were national radio shows. I mean, people are just nuts these days. I never saw Arch Manning, so I had no clue. And I looked. It's not like I just sat around. He didn't play. So, he hasn't lived up to the hype, there's no doubt, but I'm not that surprised. But he has been worse than people think, I will say that. Not even close to the number 1 pick. Not even close. Who's had a worse year, Drew Aller or Arch Manning? Anyway, question number 5. NBA tipped off last night, but basketball fans didn't see LeBron James. He's out with sciatica issues. Yeah, kind of like me, it's a tough life. Some think he could be sidelined till December. What do you think about LeBron with the Lakers? You think he's still a Laker at the end of the season, or will they look to trade? He is a Laker. This is it for LeBron James, Chris. This is the year. This is it, I think. Last year, LeBron retires. Him and Luka Doncic put it together. I don't know how far they go, but this is your last year watching LeBron James, I believe. And some people are driving around. Yeah, thank the Lord. Take it easy. Take it easy. 5 questions from Chris in the books. Craig Mattick gets us going. SDPB Sports next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Hey, it's Nate Brown for Atomic Wings. 2 locations in Sioux Falls. You don't need to keep going to the mediocre wing places with too much breading and wings that don't have any meat. Atomic Wings is different. I know firsthand. Their boneless wings are made with fresh chicken right there. The best wings I've had. 15 unique flavors to choose from sweet to heat. Huge traditional wings, fresh boneless wings for game day, lunch, or dinner. 2 locations in Sioux Falls. Just order at atomicwings.com. Atomicwings.com.
Inheritance, romance, and investment scams continue to plague South Dakotans with high dollar amount losses. They prey on vulnerable adults and swindle consumers out of their funds. Scammers befriend the victim, making it difficult for them to see the reality of what's happening. If you have a loved one susceptible to this type of scam, sit down and talk with them about these issues before it happens to them. If you or a loved one have been scammed in this manner, please reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
At Highmark Credit Union, we believe banking should feel personal. That's why when you walk into our lobbies, you'll be greeted by real tellers and friendly staff, ready to help with your questions, big or small. And yes, we've got the latest technology too, for when you want quick and convenient service. The best part? You get to choose. Highmark Credit Union. Personal service backed by modern technology. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Hey Black Hills, this is Scott Hanna. And this is Adam Ray, and we have a full-service mechanical repair shop, Gateway Tire and Alignment, right here, right now. We have top-of-the-line equipment with skilled, experienced, expert mechanics, offering all services from oil changes starting at $49.95 to brakes, to free AC checks, diagnostics, engine work, even diesel. We can get you in now. No more waiting for weeks to get your car in for service. We're your one-stop shop for sales and service. Visit us at 123 Omaha or go to gatewayautoplex.com to book your appointment. Gateway Sales and Service. I'm Scott Hanna. And I'm Adam Ray. And nobody, I mean nobody, beats a Gateway deal.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Mainly clear skies tonight with lows around 35. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 63. Lows around 40 tomorrow night. Mainly clear skies. Ample sunshine expected Friday with highs around 68. 76 Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 55.
The doctors and staff at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center have provided expert bone, joint, and muscle care to patients in the Black Hills area since 1976. Whether you're an elite athlete, a weekend warrior, or just want to continue your active lifestyle, the orthopedic experts at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center will help you stay in the game. Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
Since 1928, Connect Home Center has been proud to serve Rapid City and Spearfish with quality products and customer service that you can trust. In 2000, Connect joined the Mead Lumber family, and now they're taking the next step into their journey. Connect Home Center is becoming Mead Lumber. Same people, same service, just a new name from design to finish. Mead Lumber is here for you, as they've always been. MeadLumber.com.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in tonight. Thanks for making this show possible. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio, The Nate Brown Show. Glad to have you on board. Hope you're having a good day. Wednesday edition of the program. We're just getting going here this hour. Jake Terry's going to join us tonight from Point-Jefferson. He's the head football coach. Great season for them. Trying to win an 11B title. Number 1 seed. Jake Terry's also part of the football advisory committee, and I have a lot of discussion I want to have with Jake Terry about ideas for South Dakota high school football. We'll just run it by him tonight. Thanks, Coach. Jake Terry's coming up. EPJ head coach. Craig Mattick's on tonight. Let me try out my ideas first on Craig. He's always a tough customer. SDPB Sports. live from Sioux Falls. Craig, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Sorry I wasn't able to run into you last week when I was in Rapid for the state soccer championships, but I know you're a busy guy and you got a lot of people around you. You got a big fence that I can't penetrate. So
that's right.
But that's okay. But as always, it doesn't make a difference what the event is there in Rapid. The folks are great. It was a great time being in Rapid. I know it was cold and windy, but thanks to Jordan Bauer over there at Rapid City Central, those guys went above and beyond to help us out with all sorts of things. So had a good time, and we'll be back next month for state volleyball.
I did watch your live coverage. You guys did a great job, as always, the SDPB crew. I watched a lot of the coverage of the state soccer championships. And by the way, speaking of state soccer, I have to throw this one out here just right away. There's a proposal for soccer next week that instead of just the championship match, like it featured Harrisburg on the girls' side, Harrisburg and Sioux Falls O'Gorman. Instead of just the championship, in AA, there's a proposal to say we should have a third and fourth place like the other sports, like volleyball, like basketball. Third and fourth place like the night before to make it a bigger event. And Craig Mattick says?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not so sure on that. I don't know if the third and fourth place teams, if they happen to be all East River, if they would have enjoyed coming out to play a third place game out in Rapid and then go back right after playing it. I don't know. It's a change in the format. I'm not so sure. I understand the premise, get another game in, but I just don't know if that one's going to go.
Spoken from a guy who covered 4 state championships in a row. Anyway, maybe you don't have to broadcast it, okay? But don't kill it. Just because
I would.
Okay.
I would.
All right. I don't have to sign you up for that. I'll fill in for you on that game. Okay. Let me ask you this: high school football. I had a big discussion yesterday on this show, and this is the first time I've seen a formula like this. And there's people on East River and West River have said, maybe this makes sense, and I've got them down. I've got them from the Sioux Falls Metro. I've got them from Rapid City. Montana has a formula when they look at teams that go down a class in football. Their formula is 30% enrollment, 25% success factor. That's wins, losses. We look at your past 4 years. 35% roster size. Roster size is factored in. Are they on to something? Rosters, we don't look at that. We just look at enrollment. Roster size for a football program, is that what tells you if you're healthy or not?
I don't think so. I think that number can get manipulated.
Huh?
Yeah.
You're going to start cutting players?
There are. Are you surprised over that? I mean, how many schools in South Dakota have maybe manipulated enrollment figures so that they don't have to move up a class?
Oh.
Has that ever been done? I'm just bringing it out, and I'm telling you that there are schools who will not co-op, because if they co-op, they'll have to move up a division in name your sport, like football.
Well, they do that now. They do that now.
Right, which just drives me crazy, because that's not looking out for. Is that really looking out for your operation, your school? No, we're not going to cooperate with you and join you because we don't want to move up another class in football. How really silly is that?
Here's how I look at the roster size, Craig. Okay, Douglas Patriot football 4-year average 53 players. That's a 4-year average. They've had, some okay numbers. They're really down this year. Really down. So they had just over 50 players. That's an 11 AA school. West Central, 11A school, smaller school. They have 64 players average. They have 10, 11 more players average than a AA school. That doesn't seem right that they're in different classes.
How many of those are freshmen?
Well, I don't know, but it's just varsity. I'm just looking varsity.
Gets manipulated. We'll add a bunch of. We'll make sure we don't add any freshmen to our programs. So then that way we don't you? So it's a lower number, which allows us then to maybe move down a division.
Yeah.
I mean, see where I'm coming at on that?
Yeah, but how about this? Should Douglas, they have lower numbers, varsity, than West Central, and Douglas is in the bigger class? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just wondering, what if we just went wins and losses, what you've done over the past 5 years? You don't work, and enrollments probably should be looked at it as well, but male ADM probably on that. But as far as members of the roster, I don't know. I just feel that is one that could get manipulated a lot.
Okay, one more example here. I just got a message from Sioux Falls, and they were telling me, hey, look at Sioux Falls Roosevelt, a powerhouse 5 years ago. And they've went from powerhouse to really struggling. 3 wins the last 3 years, now just 1 win this year. Their numbers have fallen off unbelievably. I had this guy tell me, we don't even have enough players for JV games. This is Sioux Falls Roosevelt. What can be done here?
Well, that they're hoping that with total enrollment at Rapid City or at Sioux Falls Roosevelt continues to move up. They got hit pretty good when Jefferson was formed 5 years ago. You know, they had a large percentage of that enrollment go to Jefferson, which was expected, but my understanding was it's not going to take that much longer for Roosevelt to get back up to where they were. And of course, the bigger enrollments. Hopefully, you're thinking the bigger numbers for kids going out. But I know that there was this is even 5-6 years ago. There were problems at a said school in Sioux Falls. Could not even get players to come out and be a part of the weight room throughout the summer. So there was a little bit of a situation there where it was more than just numbers. I think it was more of just what was happening at the school at the time. So, but, put Sioux Falls, Washington in there as well. I mean, that's a program that was dominant. They haven't done what they've done over the years, and those are 2 schools that, you put them in the same class with Stevens and Central.
All right. Craig Mattick, it sounds like you have some wiggle room, a little bit. You're hard to wiggle these days, but wiggle room on maybe a success factor, wins, losses over so many years, allowing you to play in a different class. Or do you just want to say to Douglas, to Central, to whoever, name a team across any class, you should petition down if you want to go down? Do you believe teams should just petition down?
Some of that is available right now. There are schools, whether it is, put Hamlin in there. Put the school district for Hamlin. They have a lot more males in their school, but there's a lot of them that don't play sports because of religious reasons, and so they petition down. So that roster size and the ADM, it affects Hamlin, and it's affected them for a long time. They've been able to petition down, and they see a lot of success. It's always available. It's there. It's one of those where I just am not sold on the roster, but I would certainly maybe go with what they've done over the past 4 or 5 years, and then certainly what makes you move up a division after 4 or 5 years. There are some that says, like Sioux Falls Christian, when it comes to volleyball, that they should be moving up a class because of their success over the years. So you got to look at it on both sides. Rather than not winning a lot, how about those that do win a lot?
Craig Mattick on tonight. Great stuff. SDPB Sports, live from Sioux Falls. I did ask one more on this. I asked my audience tonight, what do you think the number one issue is to why ADs don't petition down for struggling football programs? What's the number one issue? And my audience is answering 73% looks bad for the school, and only a few are saying, well, they'll lose their playoff opportunity because if you petition down, you're not eligible for the playoffs. You think it looks bad for the school? What's stopping the ADs?
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me one bit. It's all about positive persona and what's going on with your school. I can see that thought.
Okay, Craig Mattick on tonight. You give me a read on the Dakota marker, South Dakota State, North Dakota State, Saturday night, Brookings. North Dakota State, they're favored by 4.5, Craig. 4.5. The Bison, the Jacks have won 33 straight games. How big of a rivalry is the Dakota marker in South Dakota?
It's there. The Jack fans, they love it. It's all going to be on determining the health of some of their starters. If they're healthy, I think they got a good chance to take out North Dakota State. But if the injuries that they've sustained recently, that could play a factor. But it's going to be a great one. I'm going to be trying to watch and keep up to it as much as I can, since I'll be involved with the state cheer and dance championships this weekend. But I'll be following the Dakota marker game, no doubt.
Saturday night, it's on ESPNU.
Oh, well, then I'll be able to see that Saturday night. That's right. That's a night game, so that'll be good.
All right, Craig Mattick on tonight. SDPB Sports had a great in-play podcast with a soccer interview. We have more coming up.
Yes, we do. It'll be coming out this week. In fact, a long-time coach at Aberdeen Central who is a guy who helped start cheer and dance in South Dakota. And some of the struggles, they had struggles to try to get cheer and dance to become a sanctioned sport in this state. And now you got thousands of girls that are involved in this sport, and he was a major player to help bring it. And he's been a guy who's been a cheer coach, a cheerleading coach. He's done it for years. In fact, did it at Northern State for a while. So that in-play podcast will be coming out this week. Bruce Kleinsasser, great guy out of Aberdeen Central, has a passion for the sport, and we talk about that this week on In Play.
It's SDPB Sports. Find it. The podcast is In Play with Craig Mattick, and he's on tonight. Craig, enjoy the week. Thanks as always.
You got it. Thanks.
See ya. Craig Mattick on, courtesy of the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet, and give it up for your favorite East River broadcaster, Craig Mattick. He's not on board with the roster size as part of the formula. He's afraid everybody's going to cut players, huh? Everybody's, sorry, Jimmy, you can't make it. What do you mean? You need numbers. You need players. You can't make it. Got to stay 11 AA. It's over, Jimmy. What? I'm just a freshman. We got to stay 11 AA. Coming right back, Jake Terry, Elk Point-Jefferson head coach.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Save big money on your next painting project at Menards. Pristine interior paint and primer in one is Dutch Boy's best hiding and most durable paint. It delivers a smooth, elegant finish while providing maximum scuff, stain, and mark resistance. Save big money on Dutch Boy paints and get your painting project started today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
Life changes fast. Starting a business, getting married, buying a house, growing your family. Have you taken steps to protect your family's financial future? Don't let life insurance be the thing that slides. It can help your family during difficult times. Lee Cruz with New York Life Insurance Company can help you get started. He's local and will help you find the right policy to fit your needs and budget. You can Google Lee Cruz New York Life or call 605-360-8804. That's Lee Cruz New York Life. Protect your family.
The new Mr. Liquor 2 in Rapid City is the only place in western South Dakota where you can order an ice-cold brew in their adjoining Campfire Bar and enjoy it while you shop. This month's specials include all flavors of Jim Beam Bourbon, $18.99 for a $7.50. Save $3 off all flavors of Bailey's Irish Cream, now only $29.49. Or choose Stella Rosa wines, now just $10.99. Price is good at both Mr. Liquor stores, off Catron Boulevard next to Walmart, or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
At Dakota Discount RV, we're in it for the long haul, just like you. Whether it's cross-country adventures, weekends by the lake, or family time under the stars, we're here to keep you rolling for years to come. While others are packing up, we're doubling down with dependable service, great prices, and the biggest selection in the region. Your journey doesn't stop here, and neither do we. Here tomorrow, here for every mile ahead. Visit us in Rapid City or Somerset or online at dakotadiscountrv.com.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live across the state on Fox Sports Radio. The Nate Brown Show. Glad you're here. If you miss any parts of the show, we talk Vikings tonight. We talk Dakota Marker. We talk high school football. Talk high school soccer. I mean, we've been on it tonight. If you miss parts of the show, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, really wherever you get your favorite podcast. Search the Nate Brown Show, and then you've got this show on demand when you can listen to it. Jake Terry's on tonight. We've had him on before. He's done a great job. 8-0. Elk Point-Jefferson, number 1 seed in 11B football. Playoff start for 11B tomorrow. He's the head coach for the Huskies. Coach, good to get you back on. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me again, Nate.
I appreciate you, man. Another great season for you guys. I want to talk about your program first. 8-0. You look at 11B. How do you feel about your guys this year? The season's already in the books. First round of playoffs tomorrow. Well, how do you feel about the strength of this team?
I think the strength of our kids, we run the ball a lot. We've had a good year so far, obviously, sitting 8-0, fortunate enough to get the number 1 seed. But, our kids have really developed over this year, and we've really gotten a lot better as the year's gone on. We started the year, we were playing some good teams throughout the season, the teams like Winter, Mount Vernon, a lot of teams that are in the playoffs here, Parker. And, it really tested us early, and we've really grown a lot. We were turning the ball over quite a bit early in the year, and, our defense has played really well, kind of kept us in some of those games and taking care of some of those miscues. But, as the season's come along, our kids have really developed a lot. We got a lot of new faces this year, graduated an all-state quarterback last year in Keegan Gale. Graduated a lot of our rushing yards and even our passing, receiving yards too, and a lot of guys up front. And these new faces, they've been the guys that have really stepped up. And we've had our lumps and bumps over the years here, ups and downs, highs and lows, and we've taken those as opportunities to learn and been fortunate enough to get wins along the way. But that's kind of the culture that we've developed here. Is it's not a matter of, hey, this group graduated, it's all right, now it's my turn to play. And we got a lot of guys that are playing varsity football this year for the first true time, playing a lot of significant minutes that are seniors that really bought their time and played behind the guys in front of them. And when it's their time to shine, they're ready to go. And, we're really excited to have those guys, and it really kind of speaks volumes to their character and their work ethic, because it all starts in the weight room for us. And, I think 11B this year is about as open as I've ever seen 11B. There's not that clear-cut favorite, I don't think. I think this is a wide-open race, and I think anybody can knock anybody off in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's been interesting. 11B's been really competitive over the years, but winner's kind of been a team, and then you guys have been in this mix. Now you're the number one seed. We're talking to Elk Point-Jefferson head coach Jake Terry on tonight. You don't pass it a ton. You run it. You pound it. Does it ever get to be like, oh, maybe we need to pass it? Do you feel any pressure from anybody? Or is it just, hey, we got to do what we got to do?
That's kind of been our mantra, is we're going to stay ahead of the sticks. We were 1 for 4 passing on Friday night for 1 touchdown. We missed a couple touchdowns, but we had opportunities there. And, when we run the ball effectively, we were averaging about 9.7 yards per carry rushing the ball this year. And, for a team we've only thrown the ball 25 times all season long, and we're throwing at a really high percentage rate. I think we're 19 for 25 for 8 or 9 touchdowns. So when we're throwing it, we're throwing for touchdowns, and we're trying to take advantage of those opportunities, those teams that are really aggressive, stacking the box, and being able to whether it be a counter play, misdirection. But we don't say we're balanced run to pass, but we're really truly balanced. Who's carrying the ball? We got 4 or 5 guys that can carry the football. Our quarterbacks are dual threat running back, a guy that we've moved up to quarterback there. We got a phenomenal player, Luke Schmitz, playing fullback for us, and then just a bunch of different guys that can carry the ball in any given play. So we may not be balanced run to pass, but we're balanced left, right, inside run, outside run, one guy, that guy. So I think it makes us really hard to defend on the simple fact that we can disperse the ball a lot of different ways. And by running the ball, we're not beating ourselves either. We're staying ahead of the sticks and giving ourselves opportunities to throw when we want to throw the ball as opposed to when we have to throw the ball.
Staying with what works at Elk Point-Jefferson there, the number 1 seed. St. Thomas More is the number 2 seed. We'll see if these two teams stay on a collision course. St. Thomas More playing Hot Springs tomorrow. Jake Terry's guys, Elk Point-Jefferson playing Flandreau tomorrow. By the way, quick couple of questions here on football stuff. You've been a part of the football advisory committee, and so you guys have looked at a lot of stuff. One is some topics that have been coming up on the show. Number of playoff teams. Is this going to be a discussion? I see people saying, why do we have teams go away long trip for a Thursday night 50-point blowout? Is there a discussion to reduce playoff teams in 11B and 9-man?
There was a proposal last year from the 9-man coaches that we're going to move it down to either 8 or 12 teams to make the playoffs. When they were going to move it to 12 teams making the playoffs, they were going to give the top 4 teams buys. And ultimately, the 9-man coaches voted that down. They didn't want to do that. They wanted to keep those opportunities there because of the fact, evidently, there's been upsets over the years at those 9-man levels because they do so much of playing up a class. There's not a whole lot of disparity between the population of the different 9-man classes. So there's a lot of crossover between 9B teams playing 9A teams. And if you're in a location where there's lots of 9AA teams and you're in 9B, geographically you're going to play some of those 9AA teams and you might pick up a couple of losses and end up at a 15 seed, 14 seed, but still end up being one of the top seeds or top teams that are out there just based on your strength of schedule. So I think that's why a lot of that got voted down, just for those opportunities. I can speak back when I first started at Elk Point way back when in 2015. Elk Point hadn't made the playoffs since 2006, and we finally made the playoffs in 2017, and it was a big deal for our community. This is back when they still had the regions, but it was a big deal for us, just kind of that little milestone, and we've taken that as an opportunity to take baby steps going forward every single year. And we made the playoffs, and then we won a game in the playoffs, and pretty soon we won a couple games in the playoffs, and it's been kind of those benchmarks of, all right, now we made it. What's our next step on there? And for us, it's growing a program like we did at Elk Point. It's been a huge deal for us, even just to make the playoffs when we were first starting. And I think for a lot of teams, that's kind of how they can build those programs. It's, all right, now we made it. Now what are we going to do with it next?
Yeah, it's interesting. I know people said there's a crowd that says, oh, too many teams, it's a budget killer, it's a waste of time. And then there is a lot of coaches I know saying, no, we want to keep it at 16 teams. So when it comes to the playoffs, how about this? I still have an issue with enrollment, Coach. Enrollment being the sole the biggest factor. And we just look at enrollment of schools and we say you should have a good football team if you have a big male enrollment. The numbers don't play that out. Sioux Falls Roosevelt's taken a big hit, for example. They got a big school. They're really struggling now. They just have 1 win this year, 3 wins last year. We've seen Stevens, Central, Douglas. Can we figure out a new formula? Will there be a discussion? Montana has an idea when they have teams go down, they look at roster size numbers as a factor. They say, let's look at your roster over the last 4 years. How healthy is your football program? We're going to look at your roster. Is that worth looking at?
Oh, I think anything's worth a discussion there. I really, truly do. I think is there a better way to do things? Yeah, but is that always the best way to do things? I'm not 100% sure on that, but I guess I'm unfamiliar with how Montana does. I've never looked into that before, but, I think you look at some of those 9-man schools, they got bigger roster sizes than a lot of those 11B schools do, and even some of those, 11A. I look at Elk Point versus Dakota Valley. Dakota Valley is an 11A school, and we got more kids out for football than what Dakota Valley does.
Okay.
Does that mean we should be playing 11A and be playing Del Rapids that has 90 kids out for football? I'm not sure. So should Del Rapids play Sioux Falls Roosevelt? I don't know. You know what I mean? If we're going to look at solely on that or a combination of different things. But I think there's a lot of other things that go into it truly other than just male enrollment. I would agree with you 100% that there's a lot of other factors. And in that, whether it's geographic location, obviously the closer you are to Sioux Falls and some of the bigger metro areas, you got a lot more resources for you, but that's not always it either because, like you said, a Sioux Falls Roosevelt sitting with 1 win this year, so I'm not 100% certain if there is an answer other than, there's ways that you can build a program, and, sometimes it's, Elk Point didn't make the playoffs for a decade. We didn't move down to a 9B because of that. And I don't know if that would have been the answer to help us at all either. So.
Would you be a proponent of looking at multifaceted approach rather than just enrollment? Would that be a football advisory discussion?
Oh, I think absolutely that'd be worth a discussion for sure. And I would, if the situation was right and the proposal read good. And I think there's a lot to it. I'm 100%. Against probably having teams having to move up, the way the state has it set up here now with you have X number of teams in AAA, X number of teams in AA. If you move a school up, does that mean the school has to move down, or do they have more in there? You look at a team like Winter.
Yeah, I'm with
Winter.
you.
If they were to have to move up, they're sitting at 5-4 right now. If based on their history, having them move up, I'm not so sure. Moving up to play 11A wouldn't necessarily be. They've obviously had some success against 11A, but when you're at a small school like what I am, there's a lot more ebbs and flows with the kids that come through. You might have a big class that's really male dominant and really, really good at sports, and this is what they do. And you might have a class that, there's 1 year we had 3 seniors out, and that's what we had. And we were competitive, but not necessarily at the highest level, though.
I think the discussion has to be, I'm with you on it about teams moving down. I don't think we're going to get a lot of people rallying around, we got to force teams up. I don't think so anymore. I was kind of wondering how that would work. I think we just got to continue the discussion. How can you allow teams to get competitive, build a culture, and not just stay in that class, but once they maybe get some numbers and have some success, can their football program come back? Jake, we'll talk to you again. I'm always interested in this. I appreciate your work. Good luck in the playoffs. I appreciate you coming on.
You bet. Thank you much.
Thanks a lot. Jake Terry, he's the head coach. Elk Point-Jefferson has the number 1 seed in 11B, taking on Flandreau tomorrow night. Elk Point-Jefferson 8-0, and he's part of the football advisory committee here in South Dakota. Interesting thoughts from him. Who's hot and who's not? Wrapping up the show next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
All month long at Spearfish Motors, you'll find a great selection of locally sourced pre-owned vehicles. A busy September means rows and rows of fresh trade-ins. Cars, trucks, and SUVs in every make and every model. They're locally driven, locally trusted, and priced below market for unbeatable savings. So before winter hits, drive home a vehicle that you can count on. Shop Spearfish GMC Cadillac today or anytime online at spearfishmotors.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Mainly clear skies tonight with lows around 35. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 63. Lows around 40 tomorrow night. Mainly clear skies. Ample sunshine expected Friday with highs around 68. 76 Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 54.
October is Renewal by Anderson's United Against Cancer campaign, and all of us at Renewal urge you to get your home tested for radon now. When Renewal's owner offered to pay for radon testing and mitigation if radon was found in our homes, several Renewal by Anderson team members found dangerously high levels of radon in their homes. This colorless, odorless gas is a killer. After smoking, radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer. The EPA estimates that radon causes 21,000 lung cancer deaths each year. Radon may also be linked to breast and other cancers, Parkinson's, dementia. Testing for radon is simple. Home tests cost under $20. Professional testing may be a couple of $100, and if you have radon, it's easy to get rid of with a relatively inexpensive system that blows that radon out of a vent. From all of us at your local Renewal by Anderson, please invest in your family's safety today. Get a radon test today. There could be an invisible killer in your home right now.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
All right, let's do this. Who's hot and who's not? Wrapping up the show every night at this time. That's what it is. Who's hot and who's not? You know where it's at. Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. Get into your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch, best buffet in town. You know that. Here on the Nate Brown Show, who's hot category going to a first time that we've seen this in sports. Major League Baseball's San Francisco Giants hiring the Tennessee Vols coach. We haven't seen this. Tennessee Vols coach, college baseball, jumping from there to the major leagues. Normally it's major league guys, major league hitting coaches, bench coaches, whoever. Now the Tennessee head coach becoming the manager for the San Francisco Giants. Interesting to see how that'll work out. Interesting opportunity in my Who's Hot. In my Who's Not tonight, Paul Feinbaum. I told you weeks ago he was trying to fire Kalen DeBoer. Alabama's terrible. Kalen's terrible. And now Paul Feinbaum is saying, Kalen, he's got it going. He's got buy-in. It's more like the Nick Saban era now. Give me a break. I told you, Paul Feinbaum, these guys are full of it. Hammering DeBoer. They lost to Florida State. It's the end of the world. We're going to fire him. And then 6 weeks later, Kalen DeBoer's the man. The man. Get out of here. Thanks for listening to the program. The Nate Brown Show in the books. The Nate Brown Show podcast going up right now. See you tomorrow.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful